A lot of this is to do with the practicalities, of course, and everybody has to be tested before they're even able to get onto a flight to the UK, pre-departure testing. But I do want to see people separated out as much as is practically possible, and we have asked, and I think Heathrow will respond to this at the beginning of next month, if possible, to even use unused terminals, as there aren't, but by the way, there are only something like 4% of the usual number of people travelling through the airports, so there is excess space, and Heathrow, I think, are putting together a plan to use a spare terminal to bring in perhaps the red flights separately. So we're trying to do as much as possible to separate people out, but we're asking people also to use their common sense with travel. In the end, we live in the real world, which it would be lovely to have, separate airports or something, but you appreciate
just a separate
that would be impossible
queue. How about a separate queue?
Well, it's the airport's responsibility to try and separate people out as much as possible. And as I say, they've been pretty constructive, including now looking at opening up separate terminals. So the airports are working as hard as they can on doing that. People are going to government quarantine if they're coming from a red list. If they're coming from an amber list, they have to go home and quarantine. And people are checking up. There have been 30,000 checks in the last week. The Home Secretary has announced the number's going to go up to 100,000 at their homes. So, this is not people just sort of wandering out and spreading it about. And that is why we're getting on top of the virus in this country. And we want to make sure very carefully and very cautiously as we open up that people carry on following the rules and numbers remain low, okay, and we'll open up in a responsible and gentle way. The guidance is not to. We've said that you should only go to amber countries in exceptional circumstances, when extreme or exceptional circumstances. So that answers that part of the question. But at the same time, we are moving away from what was in place before during the height of the lockdown, which is it was illegal to leave the country. And I know that people have gotten used to, the law says this is banned or that's banned during coronavirus. We are moving towards unlocks. We're past the third stage of the unlock. Of the 4 stages now, indeed, and starting to shift responsibility back to individuals to look at what's the right and wrong thing to do.
Which is precisely the reason I ask you,
do
you think it is responsible or irresponsible to go on holiday to an amber list country?
Well, we asked people not to, and I said that as I announced it, and I'm saying it again today, and the Prime Minister said it yesterday, as did the Health Secretary, so that is the situation. If you do go away to an amber country, for whatever reason, you end up having to take a vast series of tests, pre-departure tests before you can return, one on day 2, one on day 8, if you wanted to release early, one on day 5 as well. There's a lot of cost involved in that. You have to quarantine at home. People will come and visit you. So there's an awful lot that you have to do. And clearly, most people are not going to want to go through all of that. We've got ahead in terms of our vaccination programme, with well over 70% of the adult population having received 1 vaccine and over 40% second. In fact, the age at which you can get a vaccine is about to drop to 34 from today. So we're getting through it, and we're just having to wait for the rest of the world to catch up a little bit with that. And we just ask people to be patient as we gradually start to unlock.